Hello? 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 Nothing? Nothing?
No, I told you
You
nothing,
for
man.
real? You for real? Nothing.
I ain't got nothing this time.
That messes with me as much as doing something. Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Off the Rails podcast with Travis
Mitchell.
and man, I don't even know where we're at in this thing. To be honest with you, our lives are so off the rails right now that I put in the notes episode question mark question mark question
Oh,
mark.
yeah, you did.
I don't even know if is this episode airing tomorrow or do we have one in the hopper?
You got one in the hopper.
We have one in the hopper. Oh my god. And then so this one's okay. All right. That's good news. That's good to find out.
Yeah, hey, we're professionals, man. You think we're not going to have something like this ready to go?
Yeah, I was totally feeling sorry for whoever was going to stay up tonight, whether it was me or Tommy, and get this thing edited so it could release in the morning.
Oh,
I was like, oh my gosh, this is but man, I'm glad to talk. It's been a minute. We've got a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to cover. Man, I'm still in my funk. I ain't gonna lie. I'm still have no mojo as far as going to work. Like I'm just kind of trudging through it. So it is what it is. But what's going on in your world?
well, we're going to start. It is, you ain't going to believe it. It's busy. It is very busy. So
I knew it was busy for you when you said that you were doing a customer meet last night. I was like, he don't do client meets on Saturday night.
Yeah. We got a lot of all the drawers, most of the drawer fronts in on the really big job. We're going to go back one day next week and finish it, hang the doors. All the shelves are in, the drawers are in, the fronts are on. We got to do doors, hardware, and scribe,
Nice.
and a couple little tops. Outside of that, that one will be done. Cha-ching!
Hey,
Hey, buddy.
everybody
Hey.
likes payday.
Hey, especially on this one.
Yeah.
We ain't got a check in, what, month and a half, something like that?
Wow.
So, I was not, listen, I was mentally prepared, I think, for doing a job this big, but, man, I tell you, we're just not, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. 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 And we're gonna have we're gonna have a cookout when this thing is over with. I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be, yeah. You know, we used to go out and get a meal after every job.
Yeah, we did too. Well, actually, we did a date night. I left the kids at home and took Kim out for a good meal when we finished a big job.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you just have to have that Excel, man.
Yeah.
And this one is gonna be, you know, the things that have transpired are just too negative. Too negative.
Right.
Nothing major, nothing like that. It was just on and on and on and on and on, man. Like it will not end.
Lots of little minors are as bad as two majors.
Right.
I mean,
Like, well, she was thinking maybe she didn't want those, the built-in uppers like that. She's thinking maybe she wants one wide opening with some fixed shelving. Sam, they're built, they're painted, they're done. That was a month and a half ago. She looked at the drawings there, buddy. It is
and
too
they're on the
late.
wall.
It is too late now.
Yeah.
But he talked to her and he was like, "Listen, you don't want. That's a that's a Pinterest thing that looks good, but in reality, you don't have a lot of support on those shelves and this and that." And she was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine." And I'm like, "Dude, I've been sweating this crap for 3 days waiting
on an answer.
Yeah. I'm like, golly, man. So anyway, we got that going on. The first note is HOT, buddy. It is freaking, listen, it was 103. 103.
I like it red hot. I like it red hot.
Now, I'm not a roofer. Copy. I don't frame. Got you. I don't do concrete. Got it. Understood. You guys have it a lot worse than us. I understand that. But that don't mean it ain't hot where I'm at.
And humid.
and humid. So,
Uh,
speaking of that, I was looking at ML Campbell is fixing to stop making their quick dry vinyl primer, and they got like I don't know what it's called, a superset or a something like that. It's basically the same thing, maybe a tiny change somewhere, but it's a nitrocellulose primer. Same deal, different branding. You know, like I said, they might have put 1 more milligram in it or something. I don't know. And I was looking at it and it's like, well, you guys need to paint between 70 or 65 and like 85 degrees. And I'm thinking, that's 4 days a year I can paint.
right.
You know, like, what do you want me to do with that?
Yeah.
And at nighttime in the paint shop, we have these tiny little gnat bugs, and they like to land on, you know, fresh paint. So that's out. You can only really do top coat first thing in the morning,
Really.
and it's aggravating, but it is hot.
I would get a gig where I didn't have to do finishing if I was you.
Yeah, oh yeah, it'd be nice. I could certainly get a door size right if I did that. Weekend work. I'm just listen.
Oh my God! Right in the heart. I mean, just rip the armor back and just stab me right in the heart. Oh my gosh! I tell you things in confidence. I think I posted it online as well. But yeah, well.
Listen, I'm saying I got a bag full of punches over here, man. I can
Oh man,
I can keep them. It don't matter.
I just wish I knew somewhere to blame that door on, other than me. I mean,
well, there's also let me write this down here. Cold cap. All right. There's another funny note on that. So I need to, and I know he's going to listen, and I don't do this just because he listens. But I really need to give a hat tip to Trey, him and Thomas.
both
Thursday and Friday, they took my truck and trailer and went up and did all the drawers, all the suspenders, all the drawer fronts, and all the shelves, and I was able to stay here. Yes.
Good job, fellas. Good job. Kudos.
And didn't really have to worry about it. I was not, there was some new things that we had tried that I was worried about, really wanting to know if they worked or not. But other than that, like, I wasn't worried about, the work get done or anything. So,
were you worried slightly about Trey driving your truck and the trailer?
Yeah, I do worry about that. As long as it's forward, everything is okay. Everything's fine. But he was going to back that 20-foot trailer up over here by, and it's a tight turn around the shop. It takes practice. And he showed up, and we come in the next day, and the trailer was just in the yard over there, and he was like, nah.
I just gave up.
Nope, he didn't even do it. He was like, nope, I ain't even going to do it. I'm parking over here. And I said, hey, that's fair enough.
No attempt.
But yeah, and then Trey worked all weekend. We all worked Saturday. We worked today. We're a little bit behind. We had some catch-ups, some things happened. Most of them were out of my control. Of course, we lost power 4 times this week. That didn't help.
Yeah.
It's just been...
Them thunderstorms be rolling right now. I'm telling you, man. And they are violent.
We got one pretty close, so if we make it through this, we make it through this.
Did you know that apparently, like in California, because that's where everybody who's moving here from, like they don't have thunderstorms? Did not know this. Like, I had a client here recently. She's like, yeah, it was a little scary. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, I've never heard thunder and lightning. Like
really?
We don't have that. I was like, really? And she's like, no, like we don't have that where I'm from. And I was like, I don't know about that.
She moved to the south, buddy. She could get one about every day in the summer.
Yeah, it is. Whew.
So yeah, that causes problems with paint, with pre-cat lacquers, water-based stuff. I'm not really sure. I mean, like latex, it don't matter, but solvent-based, you have it evaporates, flashes off. You can really get into trouble when it gets super hot, super humid. Not a good combination.
Yeah. I know you people in Arizona don't have to worry about that when you're spraying your cabinets, but
yeah, freaking zero. 112. Nobody cares.
It's a dry heat.
Nobody cares. Yeah.
It's a dry heat.
Don't come at us with that. No. I did some of your work, so I went to a met up with a client. She called me a couple weeks ago, said I would like a wall of built-ins, and I guess it's like a spare bedroom that they're turning into an office. I said, well, I'll swing up there. Went up there yesterday, and it was weird walking into a finished house. I'm like, what do I do with my feet? What do I do with my hands? I showered before I went. That was weird.
Put them in your
Um,
pockets.
yeah. So went there, and it's a super sweet. Uh, I almost said old lady, but it's a super sweet woman and her husband. Um, and just a lot of thought from on her end. Man, it was weird because she had 50 pictures. All of them were different.
Yep.
And she was like, here's some ideas. And I'm like, okay, pick one. Any, meeny, miny, mo, because I can't do them all.
Welcome to my Pinterest board.
Yep, yep.
Out.
And so, it was where she didn't really know where she wanted the TV at, and she wanted a specific height. She wants the drawer over the knee space, the front of the drawer to flip down, and that's going to hold her laptop. That's
I was gonna say
actually
like a
where
keyboard or a laptop. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. There's that, and there's a door on the right, a closet door that's fairly close to the wall, 15 and 5/8, is from the wall to the trim.
Yeah.
So I said, man, we'll sink this side back, we'll sink the other side back to match. And she was, very receptive. She was like, oh, yeah, that's fine, yeah, whatever. So she had a good idea what she wanted. She knew what she didn't want, you know.
Hey,
So that
sometimes
was
not
good.
knowing what you want, but just knowing what you don't want's a good thing.
Yep. Spent
Yeah.
about an hour there measuring, talking, discussing, layout, file drawers. She wants a printer in a drawer, all this. And I get
Uh-huh.
an email today. Can I read the email?
I don't know, can you?
Yes, I can. All right, buckle up, folks. Just went there yesterday. All right,
Strap it
yesterday,
in.
and measured. Like I said, for an hour, we discussed what
So
she
you're about
wanted.
24 hours from right now. Not from when you
Yeah.
got this email, but about 24 hours from right now.
Yep.
You were
Yep.
there.
I was there 24 hours ago.
All right,
I
fire it
mean,
off.
Mitch, while I know that you are in church at this moment and that this is a family and rest day, I'm sending this email to give you a heads up to stop on any design planning that we discussed yesterday. My husband and I have been talking about the bookcase unit this morning. I want to make a big change, and I'm sending this email so you won't spend time drawing up a plan for the wall you measured. Since the long wall in the back bedroom is the natural wall on which to place a bed or sleeper sofa, such as in place now, we want to change the plan. Please don't proceed with CAD drawing of the bookcase/desk unit you measured for and we discussed yesterday afternoon. We think a shorter version of the bookcase/desk unit we discussed would be better placed on the wall where the desk and TV are now situated. I think we can come up with a plan that will accommodate my needs as far as the TV, file drawers, printer placement, and bookcase desk are concerned. Just in the condensed version. The cable and electric lines are already on this wall. So, listen up, folks. At your convenience, would you mind coming back to the house to discuss a new plan and placement for the wall unit? We will pay you for your extra time in your already too busy schedule. We are free these days and these days, but make the appointment convenient for your schedule. By the way, we enjoyed meeting you and Joseph yesterday. He is a very mannerly and personable young man. No wonder you are so proud of him.
Was he wearing a shot collar when you took him there?
Well, I told him, I said, I'll throat punch you if you embarrass me.
I will cut your spine out with a hubcap.
With a hubcap. So yeah, spent all that time, and she's like, you know what? We don't even want it on that wall. We want it on a completely different wall.
Well, that is frustrating, but at least she got you the brakes put on before you spent
Yep.
a lot of time and energy into it.
So here's why I'm not going to send her. And I said, absolutely. By the way, my reply was, yes, ma'am. We can discuss, meeting. I said, text me Thursday and see what my schedule looks like, and we'll try to find a date. Because she was like, listen, we kind of got to talking about it and this and that, and that's acceptable.
Yeah,
It's within 24 hours.
yeah.
That's acceptable. You know, She was a nice lady. Like Joseph was sitting at their kitchen table eating chips and drinking a Coca-Cola. I mean, the husband was like, "You want to go play cornhole in the back?" And Joseph's like, "No, I don't think so. I'm good. I'm good." Now, is it frustrating? Absolutely, it is because I wasted that time. Trey was here yesterday when I went to measure. He
Yeah.
was here in this hot shop working. I'm riding in the AC, going to measure. I felt bad about that. And then, but at the same time, she has already acknowledged, listen, I know you're busy. I'll pay you for another trip, this and that. So she understands that it has an impact.
What do either one of these guys, this couple, what do either one of them do for like a living?
They are retired, my friend.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Were they like
They've been
entrepreneurs
retired.
or small business owners or anything? Or do you
I
know?
know the husband used to be a plumber.
Okay.
I have no idea what she did.
It's almost like one of them, or they were like their own business at some point in time,
Well, like I said,
or
he was a plumber. So
yeah,
he may have,
because
done
it's
something.
like she completely understands all the things that you would throw up. Well, but, and she's like, I'm going to address all those
Yeah.
in the initial contact. I was just curious.
Yeah. And to be fair, that hardly ever happens.
Yeah. Oh
Right. I
yeah.
mean, this is not but it was just like, man, as soon as I get into Tratrat's world, this is the kind of thing that happens. But,
It happens to
super,
me all the time. I mean, I ain't
yes.
gonna lie.
And another thing is it was a really nice house. I mean, it's in a little bit of a established subdivision. It's been around for a while on the east
Yeah.
side. Um, and it was in the tour of homes for this
Okay.
builder, apparently. I don't know what that is, but apparently it was a show home,
Yeah, they'll do like a
something like
parade of
that.
homes. Like usually, like a builder trying to get established, they'll do like 5 or 6 homes on a street, and they'll do like a parade
Yeah.
of homes, and they're like, this is like the best of what we can do.
I will say this was a completely custom home. Nothing about this house was
Yeah.
cookie cutter. I meant super high ceilings, probably 14 foot.
Yeah.
All right, so and then in the kitchen, you have like the foyer, then the kitchen, then the living room. The kitchen just had 3 8-foot walls around it. Like you could take a tennis ball and throw over the kitchen into the foyer.
Really?
And I've never seen that before. But yeah,
That
they
is.
go up. The walls are 8 feet. It's got overheads and bases on it. Got a little island, angled kitchen, of course. But yeah, the ceiling was way above the walls in the kitchen. You could
Huh.
literally take something and just throw all the way across, like in your grocery store. We used to throw fruit
Yeah,
across
like
the
from aisle
aisles
to
and hit
aisle.
people. Yeah.
Huh.
Yep. Um.
I've never seen anything like that either.
Yep. Possibly have some lockers that we're going to be doing for my old job.
Oh.
So somebody that Trey used to work with, they're on the ERT team. They're doing this new thing, which is I think part of the reason Trey left. They're doing 24 on, 48 off kind of thing. And so they're going to have personal lockers. And the dude hit Trey up and was like, "Hey, since you left us to go do this, you want to build some lockers?" And we kind of know what price range we need to be at, because they bid all those,
Right.
right? And he was like, "Well, we have these online that we could get for this amount." So I'm going to look at them and quote them and see.
Yeah.
I had a
Pretty
buddy
cool.
of mine, huh?
That'd be cool.
Yeah, yeah. I'd love to see their faces when I pull up in there in my cat scratch shirt and back that trailer up and start unloading lockers and going, "What's up, man? Hey, what's up, Billy? Hey, how you been?" That kind of thing. But
Get you like one with their like logo like upside down on your shirt.
yeah, grills on wheels. That's for another time. I had a buddy call me the other day and said, "Hey, listen, I'm kind of down. I don't have a program right there right now. I got a few cabinets, 3 of them. Can you draw them?" And I was like, "Yep." And he builds them kind of like you do. So we had to build them from scratch. And then
Yeah.
today he was like, "I got a partition that's like 1.25 inches short. Uh, why is that?" And I said, "Well, let me go in here and look." So I came in here and looked. So he was planning on the floor of his cabinet sitting on top of the toe kick that's 3.5 inches tall.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not going to overly complicate this. I was planning on the floor being flush with the top of the bottom rail. So for you guys listening, think about reaching under your cabinet and getting a big old heavy jug or crock pot, and you can slide it all the way out and then not get hung on something. The floor
Right.
is even. Well, he sinks his floors now.
I don't like that.
So, I don't either. So I was like, well, you didn't really specify that, when we were drawing. Like, I didn't know people still did that.
Yeah.
So I told him, I said, you just need to raise your floor up and then everything's right. And he said, okay, I'll just do that.
I dropped mine an eighth. Mine are just like an eighth to
Hmm.
below, just a little lip, just a little something, but not.
Yeah.
And that's really I only really do that for the finisher to make it easier for him to mask
For him to mask it. Yeah.
and block off.
So that's pretty much what we have going on. A lot of installing stuff this week. I got that Greenville job I've got to go finish up. They made the wrong paint. I had to go and get the other paint. The salesman came in here and got my paint order sitting right across this desk where I'm sitting right now. And I said, I need 3 gallons of this, 1 gallon of this, 5 gallons of this. He goes, okay. I go to pick it up the next day, and the paint guy goes, what are you talking about? What order? So the salesman never turned it in, and I was like, ah. So he said, give me 10 minutes and I'll make it right now. And I said, well, that saved me, 2 hours round trip. So yeah,
Right.
let's do it. Super cool paint guy. I guess that kind of stuff happens. It's frustrating, but because that's literally what you do. I mean,
Right.
you're a
That's
salesman.
that's your
So,
purpose.
but he's a good guy. I mean, I'm not going to harp on him too much, but I will harp on him a little bit.
Well, I mean, got to call it out.
Yeah. So like I said, it's been a little bit frustrating, but we just, it's like I told Tammy. I said we got to just crawl and dig and get out of it. That's all there is to it. You can do it. You just have to do it.
And I'm with you, man. I feel exactly the same way. With just, and I want to make sure you're caught up, but just
I'm done.
everything, like all the transition, and everything. I just still feel like I am just clawing to get to, you know, production ready, and I think that's just mentally messing with me.
Hmm.
I mean, uh, the shop is probably, I would say 90%, 95% functional. There's still those few, like, where do I want this to live? Where I still have a hammer that I can't find, like, that's driving me up the wall. Like, it was my main, like, assembly hammer, like what I used
Yeah.
to, like, to put parts together with and stuff. Can't find it. I have no idea. And
Deathloaf.
no, it's a claw hammer, but it's made by this company. It's made by Spec Ops, and they do like a proceeds back to veterans and things like that. But it's got a rubber cover that goes on the head. So like
Oh,
when you
okay.
need a hammer, you just slip that off, and then when you'd want just like a mallet, you just keep that cover on. It's just super convenient, and I liked it, and I liked its purpose, where it's from, and I can't find it. It's driving me bonkers.
Yeah.
But I ended up having to dig out the I had to end up having to dig the planer out from behind the table saw where we planned on it going. There was not enough in feed out feed. That didn't work. So kind of shuffled it around. It's actually like right in front of the shapers now. So you got shaper 1, 2, and 3, and it's kind of
Hmm.
like where they were in a triangle. It's like the back of that triangle now, and things shoot right across the top of the shapers. So that works. But had to get kind of had to reconfigure the dust collection for that. Because that all moved, and but then just so I think just trying to get everything at home, and then still like, well, where is its home? Like just remembering where I put
Right. You
things.
got to get used to it.
Yeah, it's so different. But I got a couple things going. The short workbench, man, is like, oh my god. I know I talked about it a little bit last week, but geez, it's just a game changer. It really
Yeah.
is. I mean, even I kind of had these cabinets, and I ended up like with them on the short work table, and I needed to get to the tops. I just stepping up onto the work table and just walking across to be able to do what I needed to do instead of like trying to work over my head or getting a step ladder and having to move it every so often. I mean, um, just those are game changer. What I got to do is so I cut that bench in half, or I cut the top off to make it what I wanted.
Hmm.
So now I've got the bottom upside down next to it, but it's just a little bit taller. So I need to cut it off so it's even.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to get another sheet of MDF and I'm going to cross it across the seam, put that down, and then melamine those, or Formica those. So I'll actually have an 8x8 work table
Yeah.
on the floor.
That'll be good. That'll
It's
be good.
great. I love it. Miter saw, still fighting with the miter saw to get the dust collection and all that kind of worked out. We're okay, but I got my stops put back on it. We ain't measuring every piece anymore. I mean, we're over that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so went back to the laundry room. We started the mudroom laundry room last week. Went back this week to finish up the install. Oh boy, man! I'm gonna tell you something. If you got to move in those LG, these are LG stacked. It's a washer and dryer. Well, I think I sent you a picture. They got two of them. It's two washers and two dryers. There's two sets of this machine in there, and they are heavy.
Mm-hmm.
But the design had, I mean, we had no room. Like I was like, Derek, the machine has to be touching the wall. If it's not touching the wall, we're starting off bad. So we had to get them all walked, and for some reason the customer moved them all to the wrong side. Like they were very tight on the wrong side of the room, so we had to move them back to the right side of the room. And then of course they were unlevel, so like put it, and it's like this, and the wall's like this. So So then we're trying to fight to get it level because it looked bad for one thing, but then we needed the room, like we needed it to tilt. And got them all in, but got that installed. Then went to go hang up the upper. Upper's 4 inches too wide for some reason. And he's like, "Is the cabinet that goes underneath it the same?" I said, "Well, I don't know why it'd be any different. They're measured. They're measured to fill the same spot. Just one's on the wall and one's on the floor." And they were. So both of them were 4 inches too wide. I think I drew the room too big in the software. I think is kind of what happened. So was able to salvage one of them, kind of took the ends off and did a whole bunch of stuff. And I was like, you know what? I think I spent as much time trying to salvage this cabinet. The second one, I'm just rebuilding it.
Yep.
I went to my scrap bin, pulled. I mean, luckily it's only a 12-inch deep cabinet, so
yeah.
Went and pulled a couple of pieces of scrap off, run them through, put it. I was like, here we go, let's go. I mean,
especially because you don't have to finish them.
Right? Yeah. Oh, that would suck to show up finished and it's the wrong size.
Well, it's like us. We built a linen tray, drew it up wrong. I'm just saying, mistakes happen, but it did. But I'm letting it go. But I'm not bitter. And he was like, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "Throw it on the trailer. We're gonna build another one straight up. Like there's no way it's gonna take half a day to do this. We could just build another.
Yeah.
And we took it out there and destroyed it, and that was fun.
Right. Yeah. But so we got all that done and got that redone. Got the dog crates. Got the doors for the dog crates made. I need to send you a picture of those. I'll send you a picture after I install them.
I watched you sand them.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm.
That was.
Where'd you get the wire from?
So that is a dog crate that I destroyed. So an actual wire crate. The customer went and bought me an extra one, and I brought it back to the shop and chopped it all up and used it as a panel. I mean, luckily, those things are about 1/4 of an inch thick.
Yeah.
And I made the panels to fit and slid it down in there and locked her in. Yeah.
That's a good way to do it, man.
Yeah, because we were having a conversation about, because, it was going to be like a traditional door, like a 2 1/4 inch stiles and rails all the way around, and then just this big old, well, the door is 39 inches tall, it's 41 inches tall and like 32 inches wide. I was like, that's a lot of just space for this wire panel. Like, and these are Great Danes. Like, I just feel like if they have any kind of, I don't want to be in here, this is not going to hold. So pulled it down and made bigger rails and stiles, and the bottom rail is 8 inches high. And the top one's like 4 inches high to kind of bring that panel in, and make it more rigid. So that worked out. And then What else do we have to do? Oh well, and yep, got to change a flat tire today. It's always fun.
Yeah. Did you
That
get
is
it
a
fixed?
no, not yet. I just rolled it into the shop. It's holding. It's a slow leak, and it's holding air. But I know I'm pulling the trailer tomorrow, and all that. So I was like, I don't. And it's on a steer tire. Like
Yeah.
I was like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to risk it. But I don't know what that thing is. It's not one of my. It's nothing I would use. It's huge. Like I mean, the head is probably like $half size. I know I sent you a picture, but it's probably about a $half for the screw head. And like when you look underneath it, it's kind of raised out. You can see the actual like bolt or the screw, whatever. I can't tell what it is, but the shaft on it, it's probably a half an inch.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Dang. How did it get
It's
in your
a.
tire?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Wow.
I'm the same guy though that got a wheel brush stuck in my tire at Lowe's one day. You know the wire wheel brushes.
Yeah.
That goes in a drill chuck. Well, the part that goes in the drill that was stuck in my tire. Yep.
Oh,
Ask
you
me
and
how
that,
many.
you
Ask
and
me
that
how many
truck.
miles that tire had on it.
Probably pretty low.
300. Could it be
and
repaired?
your
It could not.
and your mirrors melting off, and you.
Oh, Jiminy Cricket, man. Like I've got. I mean,
How do we keep going, man?
if it,
Like,
I don't know. I don't know. But we
you,
had a good shop clean out day today. Kim went with me to the shop, and we just did a bunch of cleaning and throwing out and getting ready for the next week. I mean, it's been one of those weird weeks. We hadn't seen each other much. First week of school just wrapped up for her, it's not a fun week for her, which means it's not a fun week for me.
hmm
Just all the fees coming in. Look, COVID for her and our life, COVID did a lot of good things
Yeah.
because there's no more cash. There all those class fees and everything you pay now they're online. So like that has eased up a lot of things, but now they're trying to automate more things in the school system so that it creates more issues. But
Well,
so
tell them
just
not to let them automate too much.
I know, well, somebody's still got to manage it. Like
Oh,
so,
okay.
um, but so it's been a good. And then Taylor, we pack her up. We leave Friday to take her back to school. This coming up Friday, so um, mortgages this week. The dog's got to get groomed. He's got to go to the vet. Taylor moves back into school, paid tuition. So we're trying to make this week as expensive as we possibly can.
Yeah, might as well. Let's throw
I
a
mean,
tire
just
in there. And,
yeah, and oh yeah, oh well, not just a tire. When I took the spare down, I realized all four of these are getting really close to being needing replaced. Like
uh-oh.
I mean, I looked at the wear bar. You look at the wear bar and you're like, oh, you're good. And sometimes you just forget, like, because they're just street tires. They're not, all terrains or anything, really. They're just
Yeah.
the street tires that came on it, the good old Firestone. And I mean, I didn't really think my tires were bad, but when I pulled that spare down, I was like, ooh, we're getting close.
Tread on this one.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's $300-400 a pop.
Right. I mean, them big old what I don't even know what the word to use is. Not dually tires, but big old tires on these heavy duty trucks.
Well, they're 10 plies.
Yeah.
So they're, that's where your money's at.
So,
Tires are an inch thick.
yeah. Well, they can't ward off a couple of items going into them. I can tell you that.
Yeah, really.
So yeah, we'll get that done. But no, go and install this stuff tomorrow. Wrap up. So I got a pantry coming up. So I'll do half the pantry, get the lower half in. They want some like shelves, and I just refuse to do them floating. It's a pantry. Like I know they're going to stack stuff on top of them. So the one side I'm going to have to make a wall that comes down and sits onto the countertop. So we got to wait on the marble to come in. And then got a solid white oak hutch I'm doing. So I'm really excited about that. Something that's not a cabinet, a little bit more furniture-ish to do. And then I have got just consults. And last week, the reason we didn't record, I had a consult Monday night, had an HOA meeting Tuesday night, and then had a consult Wednesday and Thursday night, all of last week. So like, it's a good problem. I mean, we're blessed. It's rolling in. I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
If I could get out of my funk and get producing something, boy, it sure would be
Well,
fantastic.
and I was thinking about this. You change shops and design programs at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's a lot. We put a lot into design programs and time, and you
Yeah.
know hoping that it's right, trying to check and double check things get by. You know, uh,
Yeah.
it's just part of
And
it,
I
I
and I
guess.
don't want to go deep into it because I don't want you to feel bad, but the software is I'm struggling. I mean, I know but just so everybody else knows, I'm really struggling with this software. It just I don't know. Well, so what you were saying with that other guy's cabinet where it was short, where that partition was short, I I completely thought that I knew what the answer was. I thought that you just didn't pull a piece all the way down to the
Hmm.
floor, and I had that on one build where and it just man there's just a lack of confidence in this, and I don't know whether to say it's a lack of confidence in the software or if it's a lack of confidence in what I put into the software. Does that make
Well,
sense?
and when you build one from scratch, when
Yeah,
you build a cabinet from scratch, you have a lot of possibilities for that thing something to be off.
yeah,
Once you get to where you're pulling them out of the library, certain things are always constant. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Your partitions are going to go from the floor to the top. You don't have to worry about that.
yeah,
So sooner or later, it gets to where you're worried about dimensions, overall dimensions and stuff. And Cole was sitting in here watching me, and he was like, "Man, you just," I had the things drawn up in 10 minutes, from
yeah,
scratch. And I said, "Well, I've done 1,000 of these, so." It's all part of getting used to it. I mean,
yeah.
man, I'm telling you, once you get that sucker that
And
dialed
and
in,
laying it out on in a room when it's fine when there's only like one piece and one wall, but like this pantry where it's three walls, and I've got to give the customer a perspective that lets them see all the walls at the same time. I mean, I can't just say, well, just imagine it folded. I mean,
hmm
I gotta put it in the room, and like you should see this one I'm working on now. That's like downstairs into room. It's got more walls than a maze, and it's but trying to give her the right perspective because she wants this. It's just weird the way you come down a set of stairs and there's a doorway, and she kind of wants that doorway to remain open visually, even though we're putting stuff in the doorway. So trying to give her that perspective so you can see it, and just the way you have to draw walls in there is a little weird,
yeah, you have
you
to
know.
put the actual wall in.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
and then tweaking with the rendering side to get. And I know you don't really do that one, but it's super finicky in lights. And like you have to make lights. If you don't make lights and put them in the room, it doesn't know to put light. I guess if that
hmm
makes sense. And it'll just be dark. But then you can also like wash everything out, and you can have it so bright like you can't see any cabinet detail. Like it just looks like a white wall with some handles on it. You can't tell the
yeah,
lines in the cabinet. So it's this balance, it's this weird thing, but it's getting there. I mean, it's frustrating when you spend hours on a cabinet and then drop it into a room and it won't do what you want it to do.
yeah. Did he
But
resolve that for you?
I'm not 100% sure. He says he did when we did the update, but I haven't had a whole lot of chance to drop in. I'm going to
Play
do
with
that
it,
after
yeah,
we get done. I'm gonna sit down because after I finish tomorrow, I got to get materials for this job. So I need materials list.
yeah. Well, we better get going then.
I mean, I depend on that thing. I am not a good like Derek builds cabinets. Like he can pretty much just write down some dimensions on a piece of paper and start building a cabinet. And I just can't. Like I got to have a
Yeah,
plan. Like, and it's mostly just for materials, just because I want to be super. I want to keep the costs super efficient. I don't
yeah,
want to. I don't like. I don't like having to like lay out things on my own.
yeah.
But
And of course, Cole was one of them that built everything out of 3/4. So I had him built, and then I mean, printed the cut list, and he was like, "What's that? half inch. What is that? I said, well, those are your partitions. He's like, well, everything I do is 3/4. I'm like, golly, you people in this 3/4 junk. So I had to go back to the program and make it all 3/4 and adjust it and ship it back out. And I'm like,
I'm
man,
thinking about switching. I am thinking about switching. There's a couple of things that stop me though, because I don't know if I want to change all of my I don't know if I want to change all of my construction methods. Like I'm super comfortable with my dadoed bottoms, for example,
mm-hmm.
right? Like I like that. I like being able to glue them, because if you're butting up to UV, I mean, you're not gluing it. And I know you
Right.
don't necessarily need to, but I like it. I just do.
Well, it depends.
Um,
Again, it depends on your toe kicks and how they're put
yeah,
in. I mean, it's a lot of factors on,
yeah,
whether or not you need to do that. In your case, you do.
yeah,
It's a structural part of the cabinet.
yeah. I mean, I do. I do think I just drew some before we went to dinner. I am going to switch up. So as long as it's not an end cabinet, instead of putting nailers in the back and a panel, and then putting uh I don't know what you call them, attachment points for drawers. If it's a drawered cabinet and there's no ends, I'm just putting a 3/4 back, planted on even. I
Mm-hmm.
think I am going to switch to that. I just think that'd be an easier process. Like just
Yeah,
plan it on the back, screw
and
it,
that's the key, man. It's
two, and let's
it's
go.
it's being comfortable with your build, knowing what you're doing, and then trying to make it as easy and efficient to build.
Yeah,
But you can't go too easy and too efficient and then not be comfortable with it.
yeah,
And that's different. I mean, people are just everybody's different. They're
yeah.
like we always say, there's not a wrong way to do it.
Well, one thing I really miss is so the old software. Like when I printed off my list, I would actually get a cabinet by cabinet page. So like my bottom left lower in your world, we'll call it Baker One, just so that we're speaking the same thing. So it's called B1. Well, I would get a sheet for B1, and on that it tells you my left scribe is a half inch, my right scribe is a quarter of an inch, and it would tell me like, uh, and it kind of gave me a picture of just that cabinet though, and I could kind of had that to refer to, whereas this one kind of just it doesn't really want to do that. It doesn't really want to give you just like so. I called it an assembly sheet. All right, like I'm ready to put it together. Like now, give me my cheat sheet, for my cabinet. Because sometimes, I would change this, and I guess it just comes down to I need to get more standardized. But I would change the scribes kind of based on certain situations, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And I guess I just need to get more standardized and just know what those, like, especially
And
those are,
yeah, that's
you
a good
know.
point. That's a good point because we have two overhangs in our shop where the face frame overhangs or sticks out past the side of the cabinet. It is either flush or it's 1/4 of an inch. Period. End of story. Now, there has been a couple of occasions where I would overhang 1 inch, but that is against a brick fireplace.
Yeah,
And so on the drawings, I make a text. You put text on there. I'll say
yeah,
1 inch overhang and put an arrow.
yeah,
Other than that, out of 1,000 cabinets, six of them will be with a 1 inch overhang. We just have. You say, well, okay, well, when would a 1/4 inch overhang not work? You know, and when would a flush overhang not work? And what situation can't be handled with both of those, with either one of those? You know what I mean?
right.
And we were just like nothing. Technically we could probably still do a 1/4 inch on brick, but you'd be kind of cutting it close.
It'd be hard.
So we
So
do.
your
We have a
cabinet,
lot
so
of
when
standards.
you butt two cabinets together, well, that really cuts out the sound. When you
Yeah.
butt two cabinets together, there's zeros. There's
We mean
zero
zeros.
overhang. There's no overhang.
No, well, when you butt two cabinets together, is it like when you're done? If it looks like one cabinet,
Right.
like a long run of bases,
Yeah.
then where they come together, instead of 1.5 inch style, there's 2 3/4 styles
Okay.
with a piece of 1/2 inch behind them, so you have an eighth on either side. So when you put those together, the styles touch, but then with an eighth of an inch overhang on both styles. There's a 1/4 inch between this cabinet left panel and this cabinet right panel.
Okay. So you do an eighth and an eighth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
That's
But
what I do, an
again,
eighth.
every time we do 3/4 styles, it's always an 1/8 of an inch overhang.
Yeah.
And that's the standard. You know what I mean? That really doesn't change.
When you do those 2 3/4 styles butted up with each other, do you do a round over profile on them at all, or are they square?
No, they are seamless. Yep. We try to hide that seam, and we always put it where 2 doors come together. So the thickness of the doors helps to hide that tiny little line, and then we put it in a very inconspicuous place. We don't put it right in the middle. We'll offset it to the right third or the left third.
Right.
You're naturally going to look for that split in the middle.
Yeah.
So we never put it there. We always, we spend a lot of time hiding that seam, man. I mean, it's just kind of what we do, because some cabinets that you just can't get a 12-foot cabinet in a room and turn it.
No, it's a little hard.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I did leave one thing off. And matter of fact, well, I'm gonna let you finish.
I mean, no, that's pretty much it. I'm just kind of rambling now.
All right. So everybody listen. I put a Facebook post out that said, "Hey, we're about to record. If you guys have any comments or questions or whatever, let me know." Apparently, that idea worked, and we have some. Would you like to?
You're gonna have to translate them for me though, because I read them. I don't know what the heck they mean.
All right. So Chuck here says, "Is having a friend who uses tape instead of tradition a lost cause?" So are you familiar with Chuck?
Yeah, well, I mean, I see him on here a lot, but
yeah. So Chuck is in the cabinet groups. Shout out Chuck.
Chuck.
And what he's talking about is edge banding. He's talking about frameless cabinets. So when he says, so I'll translate it into layman terms: is having a fellow cabinet maker who uses edge banding and frameless cabinets instead of the traditional way, is it a lost cause to keep that person? Is it a lost cause to try to revert them to going back to the traditional way?
I think that's a waste of a friendship.
Yeah. The answer to that is
kick
yes,
their Euro trash self to the curb.
Yep. Kick them out. Who wants a Euro friend? Who wants a frameless friend? Not me.
Go ride around a roundabout with them.
Go to a doctor's office and look at those crappy cabinets that are all frameless. There's no wood in them. There's no tradition. There's no stability. There's no strength. It's just plywood banded together. And so what we call edge banding, we call it tape. And for those of you who may not know, is just it covers up the raw edge of the plywood, makes it look better.
I thought he was completely making fun of my tape measure and all my fractions on it.
No, he's talking about frameless guys.
We don't
listen. We're not friends with frameless guys. We don't deal with frameless guys, anything like that. So no, Chuck. Well, yes, Chuck, it is a lost cause. Brady Bowden says, "How the cooler working?"
How is that going?
It's going good. It does make a difference. Now it's already humid in here, so he's talking about a swamp cooler or an evaporative cooler. It's a tank of water. The pump pumps the water over this cardboard or these ridges, and then it sucks air through, cools the air off, blows it out into the paint shop. 100% would recommend. It turns out this one is rated for about 1,000 square feet, and it raises the humidity up about 7%.
Not terrible.
Not terrible. It's doable. I mean,
what's it doing
for the 80?
What's it doing for the temperature though?
It will. Well, we haven't tested just the swamp cooler, but with the overhead, with the lawn sprinkler going on the roof, the swamp cooler, and a portable air conditioner in that room, we got it down to 86 the other day.
Okay.
So it is. I mean, it feels a lot cooler in there.
What was it running before the evaporative cooler?
You talking what the temperature?
Yeah.
So it's about 108, 109 in the middle of the day, and then with just a lawn sprinkler, that'll bring it down to about 95, 94, and then with the swamp cooler and the portable AC, we're getting down to 87, 88, somewhere along in there. So
you're going up about 7% and moisture and going down 10 degrees.
We're going, yeah.
And
Yeah, all in all, we're going down 20 degrees.
what do you
Almost.
think your feel like? Yeah, but just doing the
I
same
tell
thing
you
you
what,
were doing versus. I mean, what's your
yeah,
feel like? Do you feel like you're in the 70s now?
no, it's still hot.
Still hot.
But
Okay.
when you walk in, when you walk from the middle room into the paint shop, you're like, oh, okay, I do feel a difference, you know.
Okay.
So it's worth it. It doesn't use a lot of electricity. Water is very cheap. You go through about 5 gallons a day,
That's what I
you
was
know.
going to
So
ask. Is does it need a continuous water supply? Do you fill it up in the morning?
well, I fill it up in the morning because I don't want to trip over a water hose. But you can hook a water hose up to it, and I think
Oh,
you can fill it up that way.
okay.
I don't know if it auto, fills up when it gets low and then turns off. I'm not sure. But yeah, the blades, they'll oscillate back and forth. But the thing is, it's cooler air. And
Yeah.
we put it at the end of each row, and it blows down the middle of that row where you're standing there sanding or whatever. And I mean, it helps.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, dude, like if you took one and put it behind your table saw and let it blow on you while you were cutting, you'd be like, dude, it might as well be 65 in here, man.
Yeah.
Because with that constant cool air blowing on you, it is a world of difference.
Well, what sucks
Yeah,
for me is I have access to a ton of cool air. That front porch and that shaded area, it is always so much cooler right there. I just can't get it in the building. Like
yeah,
I need, it's too well. I can get it in the building. It's too close to temperatures dropping for me to justify dropping $400 on a. But next summer, I'm gonna get a 3 foot fan, and I'm just gonna put it. I'm just gonna roll it right in front of the front door because it's got a screen door on it. So I'm just going to roll it right in front of the front door, pull that cool air off the porch, and that's a big enough fan. It'll push that air all the way across the shop,
yeah,
and then I can just slide it out of my way when I'm ready to leave. But I can't make the financial jump on that right now. I mean, we're mid-August. I mean, I can endure a little bit longer. It's
yeah.
still cooler than the other shop, so
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
ain't
I
no
mean,
doubt, dude.
I'm
Ain't
like,
no doubt.
oh, I'm still better than I was. So even without the fan, I'm like, that's all right.
Yeah.
And
All
I've
right, we're
got
gonna.
5 fans going, so I'm moving
Yeah.
air.
And Danny said, send me the link. So if you want a good, Danny, hey, he is worth a friend request and a like and a follow. And that guy there's not too many people like him.
I got
I
you.
mean, he is so funny, dude. I love Danny. Jason Bergsma, shout out Jason. Hey, what's going on? How's the house coming along? And Travis work trailer working out? Is the work trailer working out?
Well, tell me how the house is going. I'm more curious about that.
Well, it's 95% dried in. Not a lot, not anything. Nothing has happened the last week and a half. We're waiting on metal.
Okay.
We did go get electrical,
Okay.
so that's there. Uh, we were supposed to do that this weekend, but we got to run a business and try to stay on top of things, so we didn't do it. Funny story about that. Went to the electrical slash plumbing supply that sells electrical slash plumbing things
Okay.
and started going over the electrical part of the list. And I said, I need a 200 amp disconnect. Oh, don't have that. It's okay. I need automatic transfer switch. Don't have that. Why do I need 20 amp breakers? Yeah, don't have that. Okay. I need fan light combos. Yeah, don't have that. Okay. I would like, what else? Something else. Smoke detectors. Yeah, we don't have those in stock. They're coming. Okay. Well, at least let me get the wire, right? Let me get a bunch of 12-2, 12-3. Oh, don't have that.
What?
Yeah, they didn't have it. Didn't have it. I
Why do they
mean,
have the doors unlocked then?
yeah, they had boxes and nail-on boxes and junction box, that sort of thing. So, man, shout out to Frank the builder. This dude, he's amazing, man. And I don't think he listens anyway. But anyway, he said, tell you what, I'll meet you over at Lowe's. Uh, I'll swipe my card. We'll get everything we need, and I'll put in for a draw at the bank. I said, okay. He gets everything, $3,500 just in number 12 wire. He gets it, goes to the counter, swipes his card, waits on the receipt. Computer goes, what receipt? What you talking about? What transaction? I don't have a record of the transaction. Dude, Lowe's computer system completely dropped the entire transaction. As soon as he swiped his card, no receipt, no history of the transaction, no history of the card swipe, no history of anything, like it never happened. So Brandon's like, well, that's weird. So he pulls up his bank information and shows it to him. Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, that was real close.
I thought you knocked something over.
No, that was lightning, buddy. It is coming down. But anyway, he shows it his bank statement. He goes, "There's $3,500 coming out. Here it is." So they're on the phone with corporate trying to figure out what's going on. Corporate says, "Well, let us look." Nothing, dude. Nothing. He's got to go pick his kids up, and they got to go to what is it? Some dude at school, PTA, or opening, I don't know, orientation, whatever. So he's like, "I don't know if I'm gonna make it, dude." I said, "Dude, go. I can handle this." Luckily, he knew the guy at Lowe's at the pro desk.
Yeah.
The guy's like, "Take the wire. We'll figure it out. We know you paid for it. We'll figure it out. We'll straighten it out. Just go." So he gave us the wire. But that was weird, dude. And Brandon's like, "I'm not fixing to eat $3,500 and can't prove to my accountant that I spent it."
Right.
So you got to figure it out. Anyway, so we got the wire. The metal's supposed to be here next week.
Gotcha.
They're going to put it on, and then it's going to actually look like a house.
Well, while you're on Lowe's, just in case that there is a random chance that somebody who listens to this podcast, which I very seriously doubt it, has any kind of input with Lowe's, put your survey back on the thing. I want to choose whether I want my receipt emailed to me or printed, because the cashiers are just skipping right by it and hitting print.
Yeah.
I need my receipt emailed to me. I don't want a piece of paper. That's why the system does it. I was so mad today. So mad. She just, print. I was like, well, I wanted it emailed. Oh, you did? I was like, yeah, that's why I'd ask you. That's why there's a choice there. It's because you're supposed to ask me.
And I guarantee you guys, he said that. I promise you.
I did. Because it used to be on the keypad. It used to be on my side. It used to be on the keypad for me to choose. And here, all of a sudden, now it's gone. And now twice, the cashier just doesn't ask me, and now I got a piece of paper that I got to keep up with. For us people running a business, that's why the email option is there.
Yeah.
Is for the people who run a business. And guess who shops at Lowe's? People who run commercial businesses. Like,
It's aggravating, man.
Yes.
So how's the trailer?
Sorry. Trailer's good. Everything's still working out like it was. I don't think that I've got a very good install job on the floor. Like, I need to go back through and put down the floor like where it seamed. Mm-hmm. It's already flexed and popped. Yeah. So I just think the manufacturer didn't do a great job with that, which has caused the paint job to get ripped up because of the unevenness. But all in all,
well, I'm gonna throw a suggestion out, and it's gonna suck. You're not gonna like it. I'm telling you that now. 1/4-inch plywood on the floor. Don't seam it above those other seams.
Oh, like reskin it?
Reskin it, but move your joints where it's not on, obviously on top of the other ones.
Yeah.
Maybe 1/2 inch. I don't know, but it's aggravating to do. But
yeah,
my trailer does the same thing, man. It's so aggravating.
Yeah, but the paint's holding up except for where they siliconed it. I mean, what do you do there? I mean, nothing sticks to silicone.
Yeah.
But I got some we need to do like a trailer maintenance section. Like, what needs to be maintained? How often does it need to be maintained? Like, because like I was following, like Derek's trailer needs some maintenance bad. Like I was following the other day, and we got to the site, and I was like, "Hey, you're about to lose your little rubber bumper off your door up there." And he looked, and he's like, "I sure am." Like, and the screw was like just in by like barely, holding that rubber bumper in. And he's lost a few screws down the side, holding the outside paneling on. I'm like, what? I told him, I was like, hey, I'd wash this thing real quick. I'd go get some black vinyl, and I was like, I'd put it over all those screws. Like, I'd run a black strip down all those screws to keep them from backing out. Because, like, I don't know what else you're going to do. and I need to do the same thing with mine, like a silver strip. But like just oh well, I almost I almost needed a new trailer yesterday. Speaking of,
Uh-oh. Wait a
yeah, I
minute.
actually have it written down here, and I kind of skipped. So you know how like when I hook the trailer up, I try to be pretty routine about it, right? Like I try to do things in the same order every time to make sure I don't miss something. And I was kind of scatterbrained, and I was thinking about like the install. And anyway, so I'm riding, and you've been to the new shop, so it's a couple of curvy,
Oh, yeah.
backcountry roads to get out to a main road, and I'm going through these curves, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I didn't latch the trailer down, and there's nowhere to stop. Like
Oh,
there,
no, not
there
on that road, buddy.
they're just little bitty roads. There's nowhere to stop, and it was foggy, like thick as pea soup out there, right? So like the one or two places that possibly could have, you didn't see them till it was too late, and you've got this trailer that you're pretty sure it's not coupled. So the last thing you want to do is be slamming on brakes and stuff and
Yeah.
making erratic changes. So anyway, so I get up to close to the interstate, and there's a gas station there. So I pull into the gas station, and the way this gas station is designed, there's really no place for me to go except for, so I go down to the last pump. Well, I can't go around the last pump because there's some guys there with a 25-foot gooseneck there, and they're doing their thing. So I walk it back. Sure enough, yep, uncoupled.
Oh,
Latches
no.
still latches up, no pin in it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I make it this far? So I dropped the latch down, put my pin in. Well, so the funny part is I'm stuck. Like I can't back out because there's people behind me at this gas station. They've got me locked in. So I'm just watching these guys, and I'll tell this part just to get to the end part, but it's two little guys, and they do concrete work, and they're trying to put gas in a generator that they can just barely reach the hose to. They're shooting the gas into the into the generator, like arcing it in. Well, then they've got the smoother machine, like the big fan,
Yeah.
Well, it's a little further than the generator was, and they're trying to get it like twisted and turned, and so they finally get gas in it, and they finally load up, and he goes, and he gets on the interstate. He's going the same direction I am. Well, there's gets a couple of cars in between us, right? And I'm thinking, boy, those guys had a really rough time. Like, just was thinking about, and all. Next thing I know, there they are. They're hitting the shoulder.
Oh,
Same
no.
same truck, same troller, ramp. Tick 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 tick. I guess it wasn't latched, so one of the tractor ramps is just bouncing down the interstate, just tick 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 as I get stopped.
Oh,
And I just go by and I just kind of throw it up. I'm like, hey fellas, y'all are having a rough morning, boys.
yeah. They
I
probably had a
mean,
bad day that day.
oh man, I was like, boy, I could have been right there with them with a trailer on the ground.
All right, well, let's look here.
But yeah, trailer's good. I dare you to talk about the next comment.
No, you better believe I am. My wife says I would definitely include my wife busting her rear in the paint shop, in the paint, in the paint shop that a certain cabinet maker spilled. So she's talking about me. Here I am with my fancy AAA pump, right? And I built this. We call it the outhouse, but I built this huge cabinet for it. It sits in, keeps it, clean and overspray off of it. And I go and I've got about 3 gallons in a 5 gallon bucket of top coat paint with the lid, barely on it. Big 5 gallon bucket. So I'm moving the paint pump. It's got wheels on the bottom. I'm rolling it across to the next table. The air hose catches the bucket of paint, turns it over, and I hear this crash, and then glug, 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 and I was like, that don't sound good. I go 3 gallons of paint on the floor. It's going everywhere. You have to walk in it. There's no getting around it. So I just quickly put paper towels on it to try to stop it. Later on, we came back with sawdust, the absorbent, the best absorbent there is, and I sprinkled sawdust all in it to help dry it up. Fast forward about 3 hours, here comes Tammy bebopping through the paint shop, and she she walks She steps in the sawdust on the paper towel, and her feet come right out from under her, man. And I'm in the paint shop when all this is going on, and I hear, "Oh no!" Bam! And I was like, "What was that?" And I look, and she is getting up off the floor, and I said, "Boy, you've done it now. I have done it now." Of course, it's lacquer, so it's not exactly skin lotion we're talking about here. It's nasty stuff. And she's like, "It's burning," and it was her rump. And she's like, it's burning my rump. It's burning my rump. Of course, she wouldn't say a rump. And I said, "Baby, so you do snatch your pants off now." That's the best thing I can tell you. And, buddy, I mean, quick as anything, off they come in the paint shop. And she said, "You better go get Trey, and you better tell him not to come back here. He can't come back here right now." So I opened the door. Trey is 5 feet on the other side of the paint shop door, about to walk in, and I was like, stop. And he's like, "What's going on?" And I said, "Tammy doesn't have pants on, but it's not what you think." She slid the fell in the paint. And he was like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, Yep. So then she couldn't leave, right? Everybody was here. She couldn't leave and go home and get another pair of pants. So she called our daughter and said, "Hey, go find a paint pair of pants, hang it up in the closet, bring them over here to me." I go back there, dude. How about she sprayed? She sprayed a coat
with no pants on
in her all-togethers with a shirt on. And I said, "What do you do with spray?" And she's like, "Well, I mean, we gotta spray this stuff, you know."
gotta finish.
And I said, of course, I made a couple of inappropriate comments because we've been married 20 years, but I was like, "Boy, I tell you what, man, hey, seeing you back here painting them cabinets, you got t-shirt and underwear on, hey, now we cooking, baby. Now we cooking."
That is awesome.
Oh. But yeah, she didn't let me live that one down. Apparently still hasn't, because she commented on it. But yeah, she took a spill, and then off come the britches, buddy. That needs to be in a name or something.
Is that on video?
No, I don't have that on. I don't have that on video.
Well, it's funny because Kim was helping me today, and it was hot. I mean, it's just hot as all get out, you know. So she was kind of back there where the assembly tables are, and she was like, we were about done, and she's got, a towel, and she's, one of the wet wipes, and she's just all over, I said, "Hey, come a little further forward so that camera will give me a little few memories of how the day went down." She's like, "You want me on film wiping the sweat from underneath my arms?" And I was like, "Hey, after this long, I'll take whatever I can get."
Hey, peep show's a peep show, man. No matter what you're doing.
There ain't no shame in my game.
Hey, we're men, dude. I mean, let's just face it. I mean, that's the first thing my mom went through, man. She didn't get the pants off. Hey, you got paint on your pants, baby. Then take them off.
I can't believe so, if I was you, I would, when I got home, I would get something, probably just water, and I would just go in the bedroom and just throw it on her and go, "Oh, I spilled paint again. Take your paint. You better get them off. It's going to burn."
Take them off. Yeah.
You know how bad that burns.
You got 3 seconds. Get the britches off. Let's go.
Oh, man, that's funny.
I saw the next comment, but I'm not. No way I'm reading that one.
Hey, look, I got no problem reading it because she needs to check her call history as I commented back.
Uh-oh.
She owes me a call.
And
I'm coming there Thursday night, so I'll be there. Just
you get a neck hug.
Chillax. We on the way.
Yeah.
No, that was my mama. My mama wants to know why I won't call her, and it's very, with the schedule they work, it's so hard to catch up with each other sometimes. Sometimes they just, I never know when they're working or what, she can't. My dad can kind of answer the phone if he's at work, but she's really not supposed to. So it's really hard. So sometimes and you get calls during the day, so it's hard to go back through them all sometimes, and it happens. It gets missed. But Mom, no, you owe me a call back, and I don't owe you one. So that's.
I'm not getting in that.
And I feel confident in my answer too.
Ooh. All right.
But I could go back and look.
Well, we'll check it again. But that was all the comments I saw on it.
Yeah. I gotta send a text. I got a little show and tell I need to get.
All right.
Uh, and I got a question for you too.
Okay.
What do you put? What do you use for glue? Not glue itself, like not what glue product do you use, but what do you use to put glue on? Do you use a glue bottle? Do you use the bottle that the glue comes in? Do you use like a
Okay.
mustard bottle? Do you use like what do you use?
Mustard ball.
Do you really?
Yep.
I know a lot of people that do. That's why I said that. I mean, I
Yep.
didn't. I was surprised that I hit the nail on the head by that, but
Now, I used to, back when I was doing this, for fun, um, let's see, uh, sorry, I gotta handle some admin stuff, phone's going off. Listen, back when I used to buy the little tiny bottles, I would use the bottle and then
hmm
constantly clean the tip, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And then I said, wow, Fast Cap, everybody loves Fast Cap. They had this neat little thing called a glue bot. I think I'll get one of those. Hated it.
I love it.
I
I love
hated
it.
it. And here's why. Here's why. And it's my fault. Again, I didn't put the caps back on. I didn't take care of it. I didn't maintenance it. And it would leak around the lid where you would take the top off to fill it up. And I
Oh,
had to replace gaskets. And I was replacing this and buying replacement tips. And I was like, nope. So I went to Vaughn and I noticed they had a couple of, mustard bottles, ketchup bottles. They're clear. And I said, since I'm y'all's favoriteest customer in the whole wide, wide, wide world, can I have one of those bottles? And they gave me like five of them. But here's the secret. They work extremely well until they get about a quarter tank of glue. Then they don't work. You got to squeeze them a lot harder. So you got to
then
keep them pretty
it's
full.
like getting mustard out of a bottle. Then.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But you have to keep up with the tip. You
Yeah.
have to keep that cap on it because otherwise the glue dries, and then when you dig the glue out, you degrade the tip.
Well, I think so. It sounds like that's the problem on anything. Is it? I mean, whether you're
Yep.
using the little tight bond bottles, if you leave, you got to clean that glue off. The glue bot, which I like the glue bot. You got to clean those out. But I just recently learned I didn't know that you could buy replacement tips for those.
The glue box.
Yeah, I've
Yep.
been buying new bottles.
Oh no, tips, gaskets, lids. I mean, you can
Yeah,
buy any little piece you want. Yeah, they sell like kits or stuff.
yeah. So, but I did. So I ordered me a spare glue bot just to put underneath, just to have for in case I blow one or. I mean, because every once in a while you drop it, you bust a bottle. Like I've had that happen
Mm-hmm.
once, but I mean they're soft. But I'm waiting on my secretary to bring me another item that I bought, and I'm not sure if I'm going to
Ooh.
like it or not. But everybody, they're like the thing. Everybody's talking about it all the time.
Is it
Um,
another Wi-Fi router?
no, no, no. Which one of mine's out, by the way. Like one of my networks
Well,
is
who cares? You got 12 of them,
it's
so.
done. It's done skis. Well, everything hooked to it cares. It's
Yeah,
like
you're right about that.
I get the spinning circle of death on everything, and guess I know you're not a great big football fan, but pro football started Saturday.
Didn't know that.
So
I'm not opposed to
thank
it.
you. Yeah. So college is right around. Hey, check out the screen. Go
Did
ahead.
you see me?
Yeah. See clap.
I did it for a funeral, so don't get,
See, it
you
was
know.
for the funeral.
Yeah. I wanted to
You want
look
to say what I
presentable.
want to say?
Huh?
No, I'm gonna say what I want to say.
She's not gonna say what she wants to say. Just fill in the blank.
And for those of you who may not know, when I went to see Travis, Kim was hating on my goatee, how long it had gotten.
She hates on
And
everybody's long goatee.
yeah, and she made me
just-
feel bad, and I cried a little bit on the way home.
Yeah,
So
you
I wanted her to see that I had trimmed it up. So that's
She
what
said
that
you need to
was.
keep doing that. It looks better.
Um,
So have you
Did-
seen
did
these
she-
things?
is that the little it
It's
puffs
the
the
Pika.
puffer
No,
or the
not
Pika?
the. It's made. That's made by these guys. So it's a pencil. So this is the case.
Okay,
It has a sharpener on this end,
all right.
This is so look at that tip. But it's like mechanical.
Oh,
Like,
what size lead is that? Like 8
uh,
millimeters or something? How?
yeah, it's at least a quarter of an inch. I have no, I don't know what the size is. So I was like, I was doing my little Amazon order, getting that other stuff, and I was like, all right, everybody talks about them, but what a lot of people do is, and I think like later on in life it would be more advantageous because they do them in colors, so like white, reds, and yellows for like marking on different wood species, because pencil doesn't show up on darker wood species very well.
Yeah, walnut.
So you can do different colors. The problem though is so far the thing I don't like is my hat clip, which I posted on the cabinet makers page yesterday. My hat clip that I love, this ain't fitting in it. This is huge.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be a thing for me. They're raved about. I mean, people love them.
Well, if you don't like it, just send it to me.
Right? But it's got a good clip. So I think what a lot of people do is they use this clip and they put like this clip in their pouch, and then they just pull the pencil out of this like a knife in a sheath.
Well, that's a good idea.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see. Pika Dry Long Life Automatic Pencil. Like $20, $16, something like that for this and a pack of the replaceable leads.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't know how many leads are in there, but
Well, listen, let's just, the elephant in the room, I'm going to tell you, your pencil needs to be in your pouch and not on your hat.
because you don't wear a hat, so you would be in trouble.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
How
I
many
love
people
it on
you
my
see walking
hat.
around with a pencil clipped on the side of their hat?
Not many, but when they do, I bet you know how many people go, that is a good idea when they see it.
Yeah, maybe so.
I get more comments on that when I'm somewhere. Like, let me go in the big box store and people, I'll get asked 3 or 4 times, what is that? Where'd you get it from?
Yeah.
Like, it's $7 on Amazon.
Since you got it on Amazon, did it show up in like 10 minutes or something? Because you live apparently next to a hub.
I ordered it last night, got it this morning.
You suck, man. I gotta wait like 4 days.
I know. Hey, check this out. Check this out.
You know what? I saw you lift it a while ago and I didn't say anything.
That's
you were trying to get like disability or something. I didn't want to call you out.
Yep, I can get it up. I can get my arm up. I can't this way, out to the side. That's it still. And like with a cup, like I can do it here, but I can't do it with my elbow out. Like, but it's getting there. Shoulders getting there. We're getting there.
Coming.
I realized it one day when I was in the shower, and I was like, I'm using 2 hands
crazy
on my head. When did that happen?
It's crazy how that stuff just lets go.
I know. It's still. I was trying to hide some excess pipes in the ceiling today, like my leftover pipes, and I was like, man, I can almost reach up, like with some weight. Like I can reach up, but like with some weight in it, it's still still tough. I did order. Speaking of Amazon, I ordered. So I've got like 11 bulbs out in the shop. Yeah, like 4 of them were out when we moved in when we were doing electrical, and there's been a few more below. I guess like a bunch of them got put in at the same time. So I ordered all new LEDs for the entire.
Dude, you're gonna love that.
LEDs to drop in the entire shop. So we'll see.
You're gonna take the ballast out and do all that, or
nope? They're just convertibles. They just right in. They go right into the ballast.
Well, now do pay attention to the schematics on them because they make. You might have ordered the right ones, but the end that it goes into the light fixture is called a tombstone, and some of those are bonded tombstones, meaning left and right is tied together. Some of them are not bonded or bridged. Some of them are like they're not standardized. So just go over your paperwork and then be sure when you put that thing up, I do like one and then turn the light on.
Gotcha.
Don't do them all because you're sending 3,000-4,000 volts to that thing coming off the ballast.
Gotcha.
And it could, if it's not set up for that, see, some of them you take the ballast out, some of them you don't have to. Some of them use a bridge tombstone, some of them have to use isolated tombstone. And I hate to kind of poo-poo on you, but you just have to really look. They're not all the same.
I'll send you a link.
Okay. Well, it doesn't matter because you got to know what kind of lights you have in there now.
Well, how am I supposed to know that?
Look at it. You got to take the shield off and look at the tombstone, see how it's wired.
I'll just put one in and see what happens.
Yeah, put one in and see what happens.
I mean, what's the worst that'll happen?
Yeah. Well, it's going to go boom. And then you'll be like, okay. Either
That's
not
right.
going to work or it's going to work fine.
Okay. I'll take that.
But yeah, those ballasts, they give out like 3,000 or 4,000 volts.
Yeah.
So don't be up there rooting your finger around in those end pieces.
No. I try not to root my finger around in things that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Good life. Don't be just steady handing out good life advice.
I mean, here we go.
Don't stick your finger where you wouldn't stick your
Honey,
anyway.
I got some lacquer we're going to do later. Get some paint.
Maybe spray them in there so you lay it right there. So, my neighbor, Mr. Al, I'm not going to go into like our history or whatever, but he's an awesome dude. Lives right beside the shop. When I bought the place, the first couple of days, I went over there, and his wife, we called her Miss B. Her name was Brigitte, I think. She was German. He met her in Germany and said, "Hey, how about you come on over back to the United States?"
Wow.
He's a retired sheriff's deputy. He's a retired Vietnam vet. Crusty on the outside, buddy. I mean,
Yeah.
he's one of them that is, he's old school. And so I said, well, I'm going to go shake his hand. I heard some people say, hey, watch your neighbor. He's a little, what's the word? A little abrasive. You know what I mean? So when I first met him, I said, hey, my name's Mitch. I bought the cabinet shop. If you need anything, let me know, because that's what you do in the South for whatever reason. And he comes out of the house with a dish rag, and he said, let me tell you something. He said, I'm in my house, minding my own business, washing my dishes. So my wife don't get mad at me. And here you come up in my yard just wanting to introduce yourself. I mean, who does that? And I'm thinking, okay, so that's how it's going to be, Mr. Al. So we had a good laugh. One of the best people you meet. He's always, we've always helped him out. I've been over there a lot helping him. Miss B unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago. He took that really hard.
Gotcha.
And so he's by himself. He's got some medical stuff going on. He's going into assisted living full time. So he's mobile. He can walk, stuff like that. He can drive around. But he can't really live by himself. And he was thinking about getting somebody to move in with him. And I was like, Mr. Al, man, you got to be careful. Dude, these people steal from you. They'll rob. I mean, you got to know them. Like,
yeah.
So he's like, yeah, you're right. I don't want to do that. So he's going to assisted living. He comes by and sees us the other day. And he goes, hey, if you guys know of somebody who may need a place to stay, they're trustworthy, they're clean, they're not going to tear all my stuff up, I've got an empty house. How about my wife makes a comment that goes, she gives me that look, man, and I was like, what are you talking about? Wait a minute. Hold on. What? Are you thinking what I'm thinking you're thinking? And she told Mr. Al, she said, do you have any idea what we pay every month in rent? And she told him. And he got mad. I'm just going to say it. He got pissed. He said, how in the world could you guys continue to pay that rent when I have an empty house right beside your shop? Go pack your stuff and move in. You need to move into my house.
Really?
He said, look, I might spring a leak. I'm not going to be there to see it. Next thing I know, I got thousands in water damage or something may happen. God forbid the place catch on fire, He said, it'd make me feel a lot better if y'all just moved in and lived in it. He said, I'm not coming back here. I'm going to be in assisted living,
Yeah.
And he's also moving closer to his sons, so he can drive and go see his sons. It's not like a lockdown facility,
Yeah.
And so we're thinking really hard about it. We're probably going to do it.
Yeah.
It is, 30 feet the other side of the shop, 40 feet maybe. Nice place. I mean, it's not it's not a new house. It's a really old house, but it's
Yeah.
3 bedroom, 2 bath. We would go back to no commute, and this is temporary until the house is built. Obviously,
Yeah.
here's my question. Let's say we move in, right, Mr. Al? And I told Mr. Al, what Tammy asked him, said, "Do you need to kind of go through your kids and see what they think?" He said, and I'll bleep it out. He said, "I ain't got to ask nobody." And I said, "Okay, you
Yeah.
know." But here's the thing: I don't know his kids. I have no idea who they are. Never met them. Let's assume we move in. God forbid something happened to Mr. Al in 3 months, and his kids show up and say, "Hey, y'all got to go.
Yeah.
We're putting it on the market." So we got to get that figured out. And I don't know if it's going to be paperwork, if it's going to be up to a year. We can stay there, and just have Mr. Al sign it. But if Mr. Al goes, "Well, we don't need to do all that, man. They know about it. They're cool with it." I mean, do we just accept that, or do we force him to sign something? Do we just, is it a deal breaker? I don't know what to do.
I think I would have to have something in place to cover me.
Yeah, I mean,
because
I really want to.
even if a kid is good with it now, money and death does weird things to people.
Yeah.
And they might not be cool with it if he passes,
Yeah.
I mean, they all of a sudden they realize what the property tax is, and they're on the hook for it, or I don't, if I assume probably with this guy it's probably paid off by now, but
Oh yeah.
but maybe he's taking a second mortgage out, nobody knows it, and it's got a mortgage note on it, and they're like, well, we're not going to pay this mortgage note. I guess you don't ever know, but
Now on the other side, it takes 6 months to evict somebody. Now we could just go move in and then.
Oh, it does take forever. That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, but man,
I mean, obviously, I don't want to go that route, but I'm saying,
Right.
I
Right.
say that kind of tongue in cheek, but
yeah, no, I know what you mean, but yeah, I think I think I would just be honest with him. He sounds like a gruff enough person that could take the honesty and just be like, "Hey, Mr. Al, just in case, something was to happen to you, I mean, whether you got sick or whether you got hit by, a train going across the train tracks, I mean,
and I would leave it up to him. I would put on there, you can kick us out whenever you want to.
yeah,
If you come by and you see we're trashing the place, you can kick us out. But in the event of you becoming unable to make decisions,
right,
you're telling us we can stay in there, not forever, but for this allotted amount of time, and give us
Right.
plenty of time for the house to be built. And that's what we're going to try to do. And he may say, "Yeah, you're right. Let's sign something." He may be
Yeah.
that kind of guy.
yeah,
But we're thinking about it. It's got, like I said, it's here, it's close. Hey, what about the dog?
right,
So luckily we got part of the goat pen. They're probably going to wind up going in. So I don't know. We got that. It would save us, we pay $1,100 a month in rent. And now we're starting to pay, interest on the home loan.
right,
And, so it'd be an opportunity to save a lot of money. So we'll see. If it's 7 months before the house is built, that's $7,700 we can save. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously we'll pay utilities there,
yeah.
but we're not going to pay rent. He's not going to allow us to pay rent.
Well, that's not as good as what I thought he was going to offer you, but that's a good deal.
Yeah, I mean,
I was
somewhere.
waiting on you to say he offered to sell it to you for $200, like
Yeah.
the other lady. Well, just whatever you want to donate to the church.
Yeah, really. So there's that. We might be doing that. That'll be at least 2 or 3 weeks. His kids are coming down first of the week to get some stuff out, and he's already had us over there, or Tammy, and said, "Listen, I can't take a lot of stuff with me. If you see something in this house that you want for your house, take it, get it. Be a lot less dealing with it later." So
Huh. Well, that's good.
there's that. Now I've got a new segment. You ready?
Uh-oh. Yeah.
We're gonna try to start doing this. I am. We're gonna have a woodworking news segment.
Hey, Charlie, we need a little something more than just a like on the post. Like, we need a comment.
Yeah, he's probably scared to be on the radio.
I mean, we can only talk about you liking our post, but I mean, at least you gave us something to say. But
He's a mess. All right, so look here. I went online and I found a couple of interesting articles that I just kind of want to touch on. Right, this is not going to be a long deal. Just stuff that's relevant to us. The first one, and I got this off of Woodworking Network. So, but the first one says U.S. cabinet demand forecast to rise to $20.9 billion in 2026.
Hey, now, talk to me.
So they have several articles, and what I see, you got to read this article, keep that information. Read this article, keep that information. What I'm seeing is more cabinets are being sold. Less the RTAs, the ready to assembles, the flat pack, the pre-built, junk. Their sales are actually coming down a little bit. They're not selling as much as they thought they would.
Really?
The custom side, semi-custom side, is growing. So that's good on us. Sneezing. All right, so it says demand for kitchen cabinets in the U.S. is forecast to rise 2.9% annually to $20.9 billion in 2026, according to the U.S. Kitchen Cabinets Market Report. This represents a deceleration from the 2016-2021 period as new housing construction and home remodeling normalizes following exceedingly high levels in 2021. And it goes on, the gain will be supported primarily by homeowners investing more money into kitchen renovation projects and opting for more high-end materials in conjunction with interest among homeowners in using cabinets as both aesthetic and functional elements of their kitchens.
Yeah, well, I see that.
So the world we live in is kind of shifting to we want to renovate. And we want a little bit more custom, a little bit more high-end, and things like that. And this is just a United States kitchen cabinet.
Little less
industry.
particle board, little less.
Yep. I'm trying to get frameless cabinets are gaining popularity as an alternative to face frame cabinets and are expected to grow more than twice as fast as face frame cabinet demand. Installations of frameless kitchen cabinets will be boosted by modern design trends, open kitchens, clean lines, the stock of homes with existing frameless cabinets increasing over time, meaning that many homeowners will continue to have these cabinets installed in their kitchens. And generally frameless are cheaper to buy because they suck. So there's that.
But they expect them to go up. I kind of don't understand that. Is that the same article? Same.
Yep, same article.
So they expect the frameless to go up, but people are wanting more quality and a better cabinet. That's not frameless. That's kind of, so the aesthetic is driving. So they think that the aesthetic is going to outdrive the quality because that's what.
Yep, exactly. They're thinking that the clean lines, the lower cost, a lot of homes now are coming with frameless, like these cookie cutter homes, these tract homes and stuff. A lot of those will have frameless in it. Let's see. The South will remain the largest regional market for cabinets and will account for most demand gains, driven by strong growth in population and existing home sales. I wonder why everybody's moving to the South.
Probably because we got a little bit more common sense and everybody wants to get a script. We ain't got no teeth, but we got common sense.
And you're not related to anybody here. It ain't like we're cousins, so that's a plus too. As more people move to the South and purchase homes, residential renovation demand for cabinets will rise as homeowners remodel kitchens either prior to the sale of the home or when the new homeowners personalize the house to their preferences.
I'm amazed at the number of houses. I went to a new house yesterday. It's a brand new build. And as soon as they close, we're taking stuff out.
Yeah. Changing it. I mean, these people...
They're like, the builder wouldn't give us this option. This is what the builder does. This is what goes in. We didn't have an option. So the day we close, we're staying out for an extra 2 weeks, so y'all can demo and do this. What?
Yeah, and it kind of talks about pricing, the pricing trends. It depends on the availability of cut timber that can be made into lumber, the output and production capability of sawmills, trade policies, and the enactment of tariffs.
That's a big one.
So that's a big one. A lot of people don't think about that.
We need some of this stuff imported.
Yep. Levels of building construction activity, And it said cabinet product pricing saw robust growth. This means cabinet prices went up during the 2016 to 2021 period, although most of that growth occurred mainly due to the tremendous growth in lumber prices as demand increased in conjunction with COVID, of course.
COVID-19. Hey,
Most,
you need to go get your new booster shot. There's a new booster coming around the corner, too.
here's your one. Now, this is from the article, non-biased.
Okay.
Most price growth in 2021 and 2022 stemmed from inflation and supply chain disruptions. Inflation. Remember, we had a whole discussion on the prices go up, what do we do?
Yep.
When do we tell them? When can we change? And of course, it all blames it on the pandemic, which it does.
Yeah.
Not,
Not
rich.
bad government decisions.
Exactly. All right, so that's that. So it looks like we're not going to be out of a job in the next 3 years.
That sounds good. I mean, I'm still trying to build, the lifetime shop.
Yeah. And here's one more.
Okay.
Cabinet makers who make clothing storage units may need to comply with the new tip-over rule.
Ah.
In June 2023, the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, after receiving no significant adverse comments regarding a federal safety standard that it had proposed for clothing storage units, determined the new standard was acceptable and would take effect September 1st, 2023.
That's right around the corner.
The standard concerns the potential for tip-over of the units. According to data reported annually by the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, approximately 100 children died from 2000 to 2021, that's about 5 a year, when clothing storage furniture fell over on them. Another 170 died during the same period when furniture plus a TV on the furniture fell at the same time.
Oh, wow.
How about that? 170 kids died due to stuff tipping over and stuff falling on them.
That's a lot.
Um,
So that's when you buy a piece of furniture from like Walmart and it's got this like weird piece of nylon strap to it and you're like, what the heck do I do with that? You're supposed to run a screw through that nylon strap to a stud. So when a kid uses the drawers as a ladder, it doesn't flip over on them.
yeah, and now there's a whole bunch of legal stuff going saying what is a storage unit that should be attached to the wall and what is a storage unit that should not be attached to the wall.
Huh.
So it says if it applies to clothing storage units that are plainly intended to be affixed to the wall but have not yet been affixed. So there's your legal lumbo jumbo, and they're going to blanket the whole thing, and they're going to say whoever installs this is responsible if it falls. I guarantee you IKEA is not going to be responsible because they're going to say you didn't put it together right, you used the wrong screws, yada yada. So these are kind of things we have to, this is why we have liability insurance. This is why we have to build good construction methods. Imagine a kid being in the kitchen, God forbid, the whole overhead falls on them.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to carry insurance for that. Your best insurance is build it right in the shop, and find a stud. And these people, don't get me started on that. We're going to cover that. These people that can't seem to find a freaking stud, I don't understand it, and it really ticks me off, man.
Dude, I took a piece of trim off yesterday, and it looked like the back of a porcupine. I showed it to Derek. I said, you think somebody's having a hard time finding a stud? I mean, it was just...
Lord have mercy, man.
Or when you take a cabinet down, it's nail hole, nail hole, nail hole, nail hole, nail hole, nail hole.
You take a cabinet down, and there's 50 holes on the wall.
Yep.
Where they're just drilling a freaking drill bit in the wall trying to find a stud. What are you doing, man? Stop. When we have a wall, let's say we have a wall that's 10 foot long, we go through with a stud finder, and we mark everything that lights that stud up.
Yeah.
And some of them are closer, some of them are further apart. Then we pick one, and we pull the tape, and we find out if it's on the 16-inch on center, right? And a lot of times, we pick the odd stud. So we go to another stud, and before long, you find a stud, and you pull that tape, and it's got a 16-inch center mark, and those are the studs. We circle them, and those are what we use.
Yep.
Here's why: you don't go drilling into the stinking wall if you're not reasonably sure that is a stud. The U.S. building code says studs should be 16 on center. So Travis, you put an overhead cabinet up and it falls, all right? Or you hit a gas line, or you hit a water line. You go to court, and the judge says, Travis, what did you do to ensure that this was a stud? And you say, well, stud finder lit up. So, I mean, what's a stud? You know?
I'm suing Franklin Stud Finders.
Yep. Or you could go and say, here's what we did. Look at all these marks on the wall. Some of them are circled. If you pull a tape on those circled ones, they're 16 on center. We did the best thing we could possibly do to delegate these as studs. It makes sense. They're 16 on center. They're equally spaced. And the judge is going to go, that's all you can do. You can't pull the sheetrock out. But if you go through there and you run a screw into every time that stud finder lights up, they're going to go, why are you doing this? You know a stud's not going to be there.
Well, it's also if you're searching like that, then you're not sure where the stud is, so you're not sure where anything else is.
Exactly. And you people, I'm telling you right now, you people that take a freaking drill bit and drill 100 holes in these people's walls until you find something, you're going to get your pantsuit off of you. I promise you. You're going to cause a leak in that wall. Nobody's going to see it. It's going to be a slow drip until 6 months later, they're renovating the entire room, taking walls out, taking floor up, because you're an idiot, and you didn't do what you were supposed to do, and you just went blindly drilling holes and running screws into a wall.
Put a magnet in your pocket. Start there.
Put a magnet, because a water pipe ain't going to have a screw in it or something, you know. Get one of those cheap ones. If you think it's a stud, run that magnet up, and if it's got a screw every 12 inches, it's probably a stud.
Yeah.
You know, do your due diligence, guys. You don't have to have a fancy computer. But, I mean, it just, dude, it really crawls up my skin, man, when I see 100 holes punched in a wall. And
it wears me out.
You got to know better than this, man. And people that have been doing cabinets 20 years are telling them to do that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. All right, done with that rant. I'm not going to rant about that. Do we have any more comments or what? Because we're in this thing now.
No. I mean, it's good to hear, though. I mean, it's just, I worry about the import stuff. You know, that's going to be a big thing.
Yeah, and a lot of people are using more metal drawers, more metal fronts. There's a rise in people using metal fronts now. You know, what I call the pull-out game is, you know, they got pull-outs for this and spice pull-outs and knife pull-outs and, you know, butcher block pull-outs and all this. Everybody just pulling out all the time. So
I want out of this conversation.
Don't do it. Don't you do it.
I want out.
But, you know, as I feel like it's our responsibility to kind of keep up with this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and we see color trends. You know, we see stupid trends like let's put an island in the closet. You know, crap like that. It really doesn't affect anything. But, man, those tariffs, man. Let me tell you something about Trump. That joker would tariff somebody in a heartbeat, and then we're like, who's got our plywood now?
Please don't do that.
Yeah.
Please
yeah.
Don't.
And then he's like, tell you what, you can't get it from here, but we're going to make it where you get it from here for the same price. Sometimes a little bit cheaper. You know, so that didn't really have, it's when you put a tariff on something, but you don't give us another option.
Yeah.
That's when it becomes a problem. And again, middle class people are, you know, getting the bill for it.
Does this remote PC window pop up on your computer all the time?
Nope.
Why does it do that on mine?
Is it? I don't know.
Drives me nuts.
But anyway, what else you got? Oh, there's one more. Sorry, one more. I didn't print the article out, but it says that one of the leading manufacturers, I can't remember the name, some big, you know, flat pack cabinet people are now accepting crypto as payment. Cryptocurrency. Where do you see that going?
I see that's being a bad idea.
Yeah.
Bad
I'm with
idea.
you. I'm not finna take no Bitcoin for a vanity.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Not unless the bank will take it from my mortgage payment.
Right.
You know.
Let them inflate it.
Yeah. Well, I was at the HOA meeting this weekend or this last
juice
week.
From that?
Um,
We need some drama, man. Come on, man.
It's a crap show. It is. But we're going to renovate our clubhouse, and in the renovations, one of the other board members was like, "Don't you feel like donating some cabinetry, for the new kitchen and all?" And I was like, let me call the bank and see if they'll accept my donation to you as payment for my house and see if that'll work out." And she's like, "Well, you're not very funny." And I was like, "Well, I mean, I'm not in a position where I can donate stuff, so
Yeah.
no." But yeah, you want to have a lot of fun in your life, start your own business. You want to really ramp that up, become an HOA board member. Boy, that's a long list of stupid things I've done. That's on there.
Yeah.
But
somebody's got to keep your neighborhood in check, man.
Well, it's one of those things. It's like, man, like the girls, they're like, "That's a stupid rule," and I'm like, well, stupid or not, you're provided a list of the rules before you buy a house, and when you buy a house, you're agreeing to follow them. So
yeah.
Don't show up and buck the rules when you have to sign off on them before you move in.
Yeah, and here's the thing with HOAs, and this is from an outside. Just like anything else, HOAs are going to get all the bad press, none of the good press.
Oh, yeah.
There's hundreds of thousands of HOAs across the country.
Yeah.
But when you have some crazy meeting where everybody's resigning and everybody's, throwing punches and cussing, it gives the HOAs a bad look. But let me tell you something. If you go to a place that has an HOA, typically it is very clean, it's very quiet, it's very organized. I mean, it's a nice place to live.
Yeah.
Now that lifestyle ain't for everybody, but trust me, there's a lot, I'd say half at least the population is probably going to live, something like in there. There's a lot of people in there, man. All these big cities and stuff.
You're giving up something. You're definitely giving up. I've got several friends, like you and one of my other really good buddies, not going to have it. Never, ever, ever are they going to live this close to somebody else. They don't want their neighbors this close. They don't want an association. But when you've lived like the last neighborhood or the first neighborhood we lived in, for example, it didn't have an HOA. It was it had one, but it was a very lenient HOA. And like street parking. So like for me, street parking is a pretty big deal, right? So I specifically sought out when we bought this house, an HOA that had a no street parking policy, because for a couple of things, but one for safety, when you have small kids, people park on the street, it creates big old blind spots, and doing my driving lesson with Carson last night, I was like, there was like a section with like two cars parked side by side in another neighborhood. I said, "Do you see how hard it is to see the sidewalk?" I was like, "How many kids do you think could be possibly hiding behind there?" I was like, "And you're a new driver. Like, it's just not a great idea in these populated areas to have street parking." I was like, "But two, the roads are narrow, the driveways are close, and you park in the street, you make it really hard for me to get my big truck out of my driveway, Mm-hmm. So I kind of sought that out. So when I see people parking in the street routinely, like, now you got some family coming in and you don't really have enough room, or like you were here that weekend, like that happens. Like I don't sweat that. But when you park in the street every single night and you live there, not a guest, that's when it's a problem. Like that's when, and it's something so little as parking in the street. And a lot of people who don't have HOAs or don't want to live in an HOA, they're like, "Travis, that's such a stupid thing to lose stress over." I'm like, but we also agreed when we bought into this that this is what we were going to do. I mean, that's just like saying, all right, Mr. Johnson, you want to work here at our company? You're more than welcome to take this job. But before you come in, we would like for you to know that on Fridays, we wear pink hats every Friday. Everybody wears a pink hat and everybody's required to do that. Are you willing to do that? Do you want the job? "Oh, yes, that's fine with me. I'll take the job." And then Friday comes and I refuse to wear a pink hat because I think it's stupid.
Yeah. You want the benefits,
Yeah.
They come along with it without having to do the work.
Yeah. But I was told up front, hey, this is what you're going to need to do on Friday, and this is what we do. Are you good with that? And I agreed to it.
Yep.
So, so I can't come in and buck the system, But HOA too is a lot of, especially with social media, there's a lot of voices on social media. Like, we're trying to get this issue passed, and I won't go into the issue, but there's a lot of chatter on social media about it. So we had an open meeting for homeowners to come and like have an opportunity to speak, and for us to speak to them. 6 homeowners showed up.
Yep.
We have 350 houses. 6 homeowners showed up. Two of those 6 live together.
Yeah, well, it's just like everything else. They like to pop off on Facebook and not really do anything.
Yeah, I'm like, look, you were given an opportunity to come and to voice your opinion, and it was posted like a month and a half in advance. So, if you really wanted to be there, you could have made it happen,
Yep.
But that's the same thing with everything,
Yep.
Somebody asked me, said, well, God bless you for joining. I said, well, I was complaining a lot about the way the HOA was doing things. And I said, if I'm going to complain, I might as well at least be a part of it. That way I can have an opportunity to stop some of it. I mean, I point blank, we bought some umbrellas for the pool, and I point blank voted against it because I didn't think we had a good plan on, like, not that I'm against umbrellas, but on how we were going to provide. We were just kind of piecemealing. We were just buying something to get us through this year. But I was like, well, but what's the plan for next year? Like, let's have a plan for, like, are we going to do this for all? Like, so we bought like basically half of the umbrellas that we need, right, to get through the year. I was like, what happens next year when these umbrellas aren't available anymore and we can't get the other half? Nobody wanted to answer that question. I was like, I'm not against the umbrellas. I'm against the plan. Like,
right.
Like, should we buy 16 umbrellas or should we buy 8 umbrellas? I was like, because the risk is that we can't buy the other 8 next year. So I say let's buy 16 now if this is the plan. It's just, but, sometimes you vote no. And I mean, like, we're going to do this renovation, and there's a local painter that put in a bid, and I said, I will not be voting for this painter. I said, it's personal. I said, this painter hit a car. We watched her hit a car. We called her out on it. My wife called her out on it. And as she drove down the road, she flipped my kid off. I was like, I will not be voting to have this painter do any work in our neighborhood.
Yeah,
I said, but
right.
I'm just one vote. I'm just one voice in the thing. And, if everybody else decides to use her, she's also the most expensive. I was like, but if everybody chooses to use her, then fine. But my vote will be to go with this person,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, but I think so many times with everything, we want to complain, but there's a window to participate and a window to be an active person. It's like politics. Like, you have a chance to go vote, and you don't show up to go vote, then shut up. Sit there and listen all year.
Yeah, no, I ain't going to waste my time voting. But I tell you what I think about him. I tell you what I think about her. I tell you what, no, you won't. You won't tell me.
Yeah. But.
Yeah, HOAs, that's, it's just like anything else, man. That's the beauty of America. Because nobody has ever came to my house with a gun and said, you have to join this HOA.
Right.
Or we're gonna shoot your kids.
Hey, I'll point that thing this way.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. So it's like, if you want, if
muzzle
you
control
like,
there.
Yeah, if you like all the things guess what? Ain't no street parking here either, pal.
Right.
Parking this street, you're gonna get rear-ended by a log truck coming through at 70 miles an hour. I mean,
right.
But here we have to really tell our kids, do not go and play ball by the road.
Yeah.
Do not go out by that road. You stay back off the road,
Yeah.
There's a park across the street. People fly through here.
Yeah.
I wish they would put a booth up right there with a gate.
Oh, yeah.
We brought it up as putting speed bumps out there. But then I said, dude, our dogs, they hear a tire slow down and they start barking.
Yeah.
And that's they're going to bark at every car because they think every car is coming in our driveway,
Yeah.
So, but, and, it's just one of those things, man. On the other hand, I want to go out and pee in my yard and not have to worry about, the consequences of it.
Right. I can do that. You just got to have enough trees.
But your advantage is right now you could have any kind of food that they serve in your city delivered to your house in 10 minutes from right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And me, I can't. Like,
Yeah.
it's a 30-minute ride if we want to go somewhere besides one of these 2 restaurants we have.
Yeah, it's a trade off. I mean,
Yes, everything
you decide
is.
what you want to what you want to trade on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, here's you give it up. Well, what
We
you got
should
coming
have-
up this week?
We're going to a lot of installs, a lot of getting stuff done, a lot of wrapping up. I know we got 3 installs coming up this week. Piece of one, a piece of the other, and finishing one up. So that's going to be good. Like I said, it's really stressful right now, man. I just want to get out from under this hump and come out on the other side, which we always do. That's what I
Yeah.
told Tammy. She was stressing about it, and I said, babe, we've been doing this 6 years. This year's our 6th year
Oh, nice.
running this full time. And I said, we've
So
always made
are
it.
you going to count years like Rick and Bubba counts it? So like you just had your 6th birthday, so now you're in your 7th year,
No.
or are you just going to
No, we're not. You see how convoluted that all got.
right?
Yeah.
Boy, that's confusing.
So no, this year.
I'm 41. I don't start saying 42 until after I turn 42.
That's right.
I'm in my 42nd year. That's-
No, this is going to be a regular birthday. This is going
Okay.
to be October the 25th. I think that's when we closed on it. That'll be 6 years we've had the shop. Crazy, man.
That is nuts. Well, we've got an interesting predicament here. So our plywood supplier is moving. I think we talked about it a little bit, but they are officially moving. The 18th is their last day that they're open at their location. They will be closed for 3 days and then open up on the 21st, 22nd at their new location, which is 35 more minutes north.
Oh.
So instead of going to Nashville, I now have to go through Nashville, get my materials, and come back through Nashville. So I don't think we're going to stay with them much longer.
What's your other options?
Well, as far as there are other options, as far as options who feel like they want to do business with us, not many.
Mhm.
I've tried to call Worth 3 times to talk to them. I have tried to call. I've talked to Richelieu once. They're not really who we want. And then there's a couple of suppliers that are another direction. So I don't know what we're going to do. I guess I'm going to talk to them this week about the delivery aspect. So their current, I don't know if they're going to change with them moving, but their current setup is $500 or more and they'll deliver. But now I don't know if, am I in a situation like you were talking about with your other supplier where like I can only get materials on Thursday because of where my shop is? Because that's, I mean, I'm not going to say that's a no-go, but boy, that's a lot of logistics and planning, you know.
You'd have to have spare, you know?
Yeah. You know, and
Yeah.
I don't exactly have room for that. You know, I'm not exactly set up to hoard and house, you know, a whole rack of.
Because here's what's going to happen. Your client is going to approve the drawings on Thursday.
Mhm.
And she's going to give you down payment on Thursday. Your delivery day is Thursday. They're going to be like, well, we'll have it to you in a week.
Yep.
And your shop's down for a week. I mean, unless you just have all this capital to buy unit supply, we wouldn't have them sitting in there. It's just not feasible. I mean,
No.
you know. But we'll have
Yeah.
to see. Too
I mean,
bad
capital
Ball's
and room. Capital and room is two big hurdles. You know?
Yeah. Too bad Ball's not close enough to deliver.
Right. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. It's amazing. We've known it's coming, but man, it's here. We've kind of not worried about it.
Yeah.
Like hope that it wasn't going to happen. But now
Sure,
that it's
there's
here,
a place to get plywood around there, dude. So
I don't know who Shirley is, but I'll ask her if she knows where to get plywood from.
call her. Call her.
We'll see if she can help me out. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just
I-
like I think Worth would be a good solution as far as where they are. Their location is pretty similar to where we're currently going, but they just don't seem. I can't seem to find anybody that really wants to do business with you. Like it's like all the sales guys got all the sales they need, or I don't know. You know.
Yes, they're. We see a thing like this one is.
I mean, the good thing is the
Tough
place where we
sometimes.
get our plywood from now, they treat everybody poorly. So I mean, you don't feel
Yeah.
like they're just picking on you. Whereas Worth, they just, I feel like they just don't think we're big enough to fool with.
Yeah,
You
may
know?
not be. Some
I
of
mean,
those places are weird like that, man.
yeah,
Because they
yeah,
give a discount, obviously.
yeah,
You don't pay full price, and they want you to be big enough
yeah.
to where it's feasible to do that.
Yeah, but see, we're kind of weird that like, yeah, we're not gonna buy. But see, I look at it different. Like, I'm not gonna buy a brick of plywood or a rack of plywood. What's a pallet of plywood called? What do they call it?
A unit.
A unit. So yeah, we're not gonna buy a unit at a time. But I feel like those guys who buy a unit, you're not gonna see them again for 2 to 3 weeks. Whereas over 2 to 3 weeks, I'm gonna buy a unit. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? Like
Yeah.
we're just not set up to store and house it all at one time, but I'm probably buying pretty close to the same volume. I'm just coming to see you more frequently. Like
Yeah. It
but
may help to estimate how many hinges you bought last year,
yeah.
plywood, screws, that sort of thing, and say, here's what I do a year. I'm growing. Always tell them you're growing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm growing. I do more and more every year. Let's sit down. Let's talk some numbers. And as soon as you get them locked in, that's it. As soon as you
Yeah.
get an account open with them, that's it. Now, like me, I went to Bone the other day to get some stuff. And I said, by the way, I ordered hoods and liners because I'm getting them through there now, right? And fans, I can't find my liners. And the owner of Bone is standing right beside me, and he looks at me and goes, so you trying to say what you trying to say? We stealing from you? We robbing you? We ain't giving you your stuff? And I said, well, I'm not saying it. I didn't say that. You brought that up. I didn't say that. He was like, well, that sounds like a personal problem. Saying to me like, you got to go find some liners somewhere, all I can tell you, and he hauled around. And so he goes, let's go out here and ask Ricky or whatever. So we went out there, we talked to Ricky. Ricky said, well, they're not here. Whatever came in, and we put it on the truck and sent it out to Mitch. And I was like, all right. And of course, everything's on credit, right? So Charles, the owner, he was like, well, I don't even know why you're bringing this up. And I said, why? And he goes, well, it ain't like you paid for it yet. You ain't even paid for it. Like, how you going to come in here and complain about something you didn't pay for it, And that's the way he is. We banter with each other back and forth. But, we have an awesome working relationship. And so the guy behind the counter went to looking at the notes, and he was like, ooh, I see something right here that says it was shipped with the big hood. It's in the box. So I called Tammy. She rips open the box, and there they are.
Ah.
And I said, well, they've never shipped them that way before. And then Charles was like, listen, man, don't be in here bothering me with this trivia stuff. I'm in my office working. Don't be in here missing a line. Or you had it the whole time. You just want to cause drama,
Right.
That's just the way he is. And it's awesome,
Yeah.
because I've been quoted some really good prices on plywood if I went with Worth.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I'm not doing it. No way I'm taking business with these people.
Yeah. I mean, I've just now got these guys where at least when I walk in, they're like, hey, Travis. Now, they'll look back down at their desk for another 10, 15 minutes before they come, do anything. But,
yeah.
I mean, at least they do recognize me when I walk in the room. But
well, here's an example. I called them and I said, hey, do I have enough room on my credit I just need a few sheets of plywood. I'm waiting to get this job done, so I can get a check, pay the credit off. Do I have room? He goes, heck no, man. According to our notes, you're like $6,000 over your credit limit. And he said, well, what time are you going to be here to pick it up? That's just
Right.
the way they are.
Yeah.
And so I go up there, and I'm in there, knocking elbows with the owner of the place. I come outside, all my stuff's loaded up on the truck.
yeah.
All the plywood's loaded up, the trash pullouts are loaded up, and the dude comes in and is like, hey, do you want 8, 12s, 14s, or 16s on this pauper? I said, I don't care. Whatever you guys want. He's like, all right, cool. Go back out there, man. I got it loaded up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm a small potato.
Yeah.
And it's just, I can't say enough good things about them, so.
Well, it's too
and it
far to
makes a
drive.
difference.
I can't drive that
Yeah.
far.
You and
Although
Charles,
driving
man,
to
you
Gallatin through Nashville is almost probably the same by the time
would. Right. Yeah.
I sit in
6 hours.
traffic.
Well, what else you got before we wrap it on up?
That's it, man. That's it. I hope everybody has a good week. Go after it. I kind of like this. I kind of like that we're back close to recording and release date. It's a little stressful on us, but I like it. I think it's a little easier to stay relative and present with what's going on. You know,
Yeah.
It's easier to not live in this, like, you know, the podcast time warp that we were living in for a long time. But remind me, I got an admin question I need to ask you right when we hang up. But other than that, but you know, I hope everybody goes after it, has a good week. You know, get something started. You know, see what you can get into.
Do it, and let us know what you think about, you know, maybe some Facebook comments. We can read those.
Yeah.
Some news. Did you like that? Did you like hearing about kind of what's going on in the industry? Is that something you want to hear more of? I mean, we're not going to do a podcast on the news, but we make those. You want some snippets of it every now and then? Are you interested in it? I mean,
yeah.
What do y'all want?
Don't tell me any bad news. As long as you don't tell me bad news, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. I try to stay.
Study shows in 2025, houses will be built without cabinets.
Yeah, it's gonna be cardboard boxes everywhere.
What? Everybody's going to Tupperware storage bins.
Nobody has a lid. Let's sign off.
Lid only fits for a week.
Yeah, I gotta go get to bed. I actually have to get to work regular hours in the morning.
Oh, I do too. I got an install to finish up. I have a console. I have a console at 7 a.m.
Well, that ain't no good.
In Nashville.
Come back with all 10. See you next week. Thanks for listening. We enjoyed it. I had a good time this podcast. It was fun.
Oh, for sure. Word of the week?
Ooh. We're going to do Newsflash.
Newsflash. Newsflash.
Oh, no.
Oh, see, you hung up. You sent the wrong word. When you hit all those people who hit end, they're sending the wrong word.
Yeah, that's the fake word.
What you got?
The real word is I don't know. I got to put Tammy Fallon in there somewhere.
Hot pants.
Yeah, hot pants. Hot pants. That's the word. All right. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you.
Bye.